to be honest, prep for GRE is not easy at all. It was like one of
Hmm.
the most frustrating things which I've done in my entire life. If everyone else is doing it here, why can't you also do it here? And you're
Right.
already making good money, so why do you want to go? So I had to convince them. And he told me, like, no, you don't have a great profile. They require a lot of research experience. You would not be able to get in and all. When I was standing in the queue, I knew that there are two officers and one was clearly rejecting everyone. It's a risk which you take and you can never know if it's gonna work out or not gonna work out.
You had Walmart, a good job. What if things didn't work out there? How much does it cost to study in UC?
But in general, it's not that every single person gets a paid on campus job. It's very difficult. I don't think that your college tag helps you a lot. It's just how soon you apply.
How safe is UCSD? Your batch, which when you came, because all of them graduated in the peak recession. How many do you feel like end up getting a job? Like, do you feel like most of them did, or people are still struggling? Thank you, Aakriti. Welcome back. Our first video did really well. So, for people who don't know, she worked in Google and we did an entire story of how she got into Google. But today, we're going to talk about the first part of her journey where she did the master's in UC San Diego. But before that, Aakriti, for people who might have not watched, let's do a quick intro. Where are you from? Where are you right now? What do you do? Fun stuff.
Okay, sure. So I am currently in the US. Originally, I'm from Cuttack, Odisha, which is in India, and I've done my bachelor's from BIT Mesra, Ranchi. And after that, I worked for 2 years in Walmart. Most of the time, it was work from home because of COVID. But then I eventually did my master's at UCSD. I moved to the US and I completed it in 1.5 years. And then I am currently working as a software engineer at Google in the
Nice.
Bay Area, Sunnyvale.
Yes, I can't wait to visit you. You're only 3 hours far from me, so hopefully I get to visit you and we can hang out together.
Of course, of course.
Nice. All right, so I want to bring you back in time. You were working in Walmart, obviously making good money, and for some reason you thought, I want to do masters. Why did you think about doing masters in first place?
So at that time, AI was just starting up. So
Hmm.
I had two things in mind. First, I always wanted to do a master's degree because first thing I always felt that I have not done my bachelor's from a great college. And even at work, people used to talk a lot about networking concepts and some concepts which I always felt that I don't really know much. So I wanted to learn those things. And at the second thing was I wanted to learn more about AI and do a specialization in AI. So that is one of those were the reasons I decided to choose masters.
Okay. Okay, so from timeline perspective, can you, when was this decision that you made that, okay, I want to go for masters? And when, like now that you made the decision, what things did you do like right after you decided, okay, okay, I'm going to go for masters. Here's the first thing that I'm going to do.
Oh, okay. So I think I had the first thought that I want to go for masters in around October 2020.
Okay.
And then I was still thinking if I should go or not go. And I was trying to figure out resources and all that stuff. And I did time pass till January 21. And
Right.
then I actually started preparing for GRE in Jan
Mm,
21. Again,
mm,
there are a lot of resources, and to be honest, prep for GRE is not easy at all. It was like one of
mm.
the most frustrating things which I've done in my entire life. And so, yeah, I started in Jan 21, but I think I
Mm.
gave my GRE in July 21. So
Okay.
I
6 months
had
of prep and yeah.
yeah, I was just starting leaving. I was not quite sure if I want to go or not go. And
Mm,
because the prep is so frustrating, you kind of start, give up. And then that same process was happening with me as well. I took the Magoosh account, which I think kind of helped me a little. And then I gave my GRE in July 21. After that, I started preparing for TOEFL and gave it in, I think, early September in
okay.
21. And
Mm,
then I started working on my SOP and everything. And I think I was even working on the SOP during the time when I was preparing for GRE. So I would say I would have
mm,
started around Aprilish, trying
mm.
to figure out what all needs to be done and everything. And I was able to apply for most of the applications. in October end or November first week, because close
Mm,
to that you have the early deadlines. And it's
mm,
anyway, if you're sure you're gonna apply for masters, it's always better to apply within the early timelines.
yes, yes. And so, did you have to convince your parents that I'm going and leaving you guys, or your parents are like, "Ja beta, जी ले अपनी जिंदगी."
वैसा कोई भी Indian parents, they never tell you. It's very, very impossible that they'll tell you that, oh yeah, go. So I, of course, had to convince my parents, because I was the first person in my entire family who was even going out, be it
Mm,
internationally or nationally. I was the first
mm,
person to step out. So they did not have the thought process that, okay, you can make a better career or a better future if you go out. They were like, yeah,
mm,
of course, if everyone else is doing it here, why can't you also do it here? And you're
mm,
already making good money, so why do you want to go? So I
mm,
had to convince them. And my primary criteria was that, okay, I'll go, I'll take some years of experience and then come back over like five,
mm,
6 years.
mm,
So, and I told them that, see, you need to have a proper discussion with your parents and tell them, see, this is what I am doing now. My point was, this is what I'm earning now, and this is what I'll earn when I go there. This is
mm.
how hard I'm working here, and this is how hard I'll work there, and the work life balance that I'll have, and all that stuff. So,
Nice. Okay, this is good because I think many students reaches out to me saying like they want to do, but they don't know how to convince their parents. So this will be good. And you also kind of like kept your promise because you did, got the job in Google and
yeah,
did get the money and all of that. So
yeah.
so that's good. You were driven and like you're ambitious, focused. So that's cool. Okay, now time comes like you have GRE, you did TOEFL, September, October, you want to start applying for universities. How did you come up with the list that, okay, these are the universities I want to apply? So like, how did you came up with that list?
So, to be very honest, I did not do a lot of research, and that is why
Mm.
I feel that my list was not the best list possible as per my profile. So, I
But
was
yet you
taking,
got UC San Diego, so
yeah, I
let's
will come to that.
yeah,
That has a
yeah.
story in itself. So, my list was really an average kind of list. And I was taking help from one person who was just starting a startup back then. And I
Mm,
got the cheaper price option with him because he was just trying to promote himself. But it's best if you can have friends who are working on similar things, because that way it's two minds trying to do the same research and you can collaborate,
mm,
and that works better. But I did not have anyone. So, first list of universities was the one which he gave me, and I
mm,
did not have a great GRE score. I had 318, which is
mm,
a very average score. But then, whatever list he gave me, I did not even think that, oh, this is the expense which goes in, or this is the weather, where these things are important to me. But I
mm,
just went with his first random list. And then, when I started actually applying, I was seeing that, oh, this college requires this. Then, when you need to write your SOP, you need to go into individual professors' profile and check that what projects they offer and so on. So after
mm,
I was already applying, I started looking into the universities, and then I realized that, oh, I think I'm not applying to great universities. And
mm,
then I thought of UCSD. And then when I checked with this person, he told me, like, no, you don't have a great profile. They require a lot of research
mm,
experience. You would not be able to get in and all. But I was like, if we are anyways taking a risk on eight, nine other universities, why not just give one more
yeah,
shot?
yeah.
And that is how I framed my SOP very nicely. Like, I
Mm,
worked a lot on that SOP to make sure that whatever I'm writing is perfectly aligning with what UCSD requires. You can find
mm,
those things on the professor's profile and other things. And that SOP was the game changer for me. Otherwise, I would have been in a very mediocre kind of university.
mm. And so why did you think about UCSD? Like, what was the reasoning? Like, okay, I want to go to UCSD.
So initially, I did not even have an idea of what UCs are. But then I started applying, and I heard this word a lot. Like, I was a part of some WhatsApp groups, and I
Mm,
heard the word UC, UC, UC a lot of times. Then I
mm.
started understanding that okay, UC Berkeley, UCSD, and UCLA are the top ones.
Top. Yeah.
And then Berkeley and LA were a lot research heavy. So
Mm,
UCSD, I started the application. Then in the application itself, they ask you research heavy questions. Then I
mm,
stopped it. I was like, no, definitely I cannot get it. But then I kept that application open for almost a month. And then
mm,
finally, every day I used to go on different professors' profiles and try to see. And then finally, somehow I thought that, okay, this can be a good shot for me. And then got to
mm.
know
So
Aakriti. Yeah.
did you so did you even look at the coursework that okay, I
Yeah.
do think that the coursework is something I want to
Yes.
be investing my time. Yeah, okay.
Correct.
Got it.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So let's what are the universities you applied? How many admits and how many rejects did you get?
Okay. So,
Oh, before that, what was your GRE and TOEFL score and GPA?
okay. So my GRE score is 318, 168 in quants, and 150 in verbal, and
Hmm.
5 in analytical writing. I think that
Hmm.
analytical writing skill also helped me to craft my SOP.
Yeah.
And other than that, TOEFL was one, I don't remember. I think it's
Something above
100.
100. That's
Yeah,
good.
yes, yeah.
That's good.
I
Okay.
had
And
23 in reading, but rest all were 27, 28, 29, something of that sort.
okay. And then
And
GPA
GPA was 9, 9.2.
9.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Nice. And obviously you had 2 years of work experience, Walmart
yes.
experience, and then you worked heavily on your SOP, which is what like I'm guessing got the admits. We'll get to that part. But what were the admits you got, and what rejects doesn't really matter as much. But like, what are the admits you got and rejects if you remember?
Yeah, yeah. So rejects, I definitely remember. I got reject from UT Austin and Georgia Tech.
Mm,
So actually, you need to be very strategic in what you are applying for, because Georgia Tech people who apply in systems get an admit. But AI, it's one of the top programs which everyone applies to, and you need to have an amazing profile to get a Georgia Tech AI admit. So I applied
mm,
in AI because I did not have much idea and I got a clear reject. But even average profiles who applied in systems got admits.
mm,
Yeah.
mm.
And again, UT Austin was a lot on research heavy side. So that was a clear reject. And admits, so I had safe universities were NCSU and USC. Both of them were admits. Then moderate, I
Safe
had,
university. I love it. I love your definition of the safe.
I
But
mean,
yes,
they
okay.
value GPA and I had above 9 GPA. So
Right. Yeah, yeah,
pretty,
yeah. Sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah. And
NCSU, you got the admit.
yeah,
Which was the other USC,
USC.
you got the admit, and
Yeah.
then obviously UC San Diego.
That was my dream college actually.
Okay.
So, and then moderate, I had Columbia, Purdue, and UMass,
I
Tamo.
love your moderates too. They are not like, but it's cool. Did you get
Yeah,
the admits from those as well?
yeah, I got UMass, Columbia. Tamu, I got a reject because again, Tamu is they have two programs, MCS and MSCS. Getting
Mm,
into MCS is easier. Getting into MSCS, you require a lot of research experience. I did not
mm,
have it. So again, so these are mistakes which I learned after getting the admit or reject.
mm,
Yeah,
mm. Okay.
and UMass was also an admit.
Yeah. Okay. And so obviously, UCSD is what you picked. Is there a reason? I mean, I know that was like dream universities, but like once you get like all these admits, you're like if you have only one admit, it's much easy. Like there's no
Yeah,
choice.
yeah.
You're gonna go forward. But now you have UCSD, you have NCSU and UMass and all these other universities. Did it never come across that I should go to those, or you were very clear like if I get UCSD, I'm gonna go for it, and why?
So when I was applying, so initially I did not have much idea about the universities, but when I was applying, when I was going through their coursework, the professors and everything, I had a clear idea in my mind that this is the order of preference.
Hmm.
And
I was confused only between, of the admits that I had, I was confused only between UMass, Columbia, and UCSD.
Hmm.
Then how I rejected them was UMass is an amazing college, but the weather is really bad. And I have serious cold issues, so I did not want to pick that. Columbia,
Hmm.
you get a lot of exposure, but that exposure really helps you if you are in undergrad. So
Hmm.
I knew
Hmm.
that I want to complete my master's in 1 year or 1.5 years, and I did not think that I would have time to get involved in those student clubs and everything. And they require a lot of money. Like I think it was
Hmm.
almost the double of what UCSD asked me for. So
Hmm.
that was again a clear reject. Not a clear reject. I mean, I cried a lot over it, but
Yeah.
it was an easy choice, and therefore UCSD was the top priority.
And USC, obviously, another expensive
Yeah,
university. And
yeah,
we're going to LA, might as well go to San Diego. Better weather, better people
yeah,
in
yeah,
general. Cool. Okay. So you made the decision, UCSD. And obviously, all these admits tells me one clear story that your statement of purpose did have like an impact. Do you remember how you framed it? And do you have it with you? Like can we, you don't have to show it right now, but maybe post edit I can put it so that people can see what you're talking about.
yeah. I mean, I think I would have it somehow, but so there is a very clear structure which you follow. First paragraph, you talk about what is your motivation, and you the first line should be a very powerful and impacting kind of line, like I am
It's
into
the hook. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Mm.
that kind of stuff. And then you give a very brief intro about your entire profile. Then, second paragraph, you speak about your education.
Mm.
Then, third paragraph, you talk about your work experience.
Mm.
In both the education section and the work experience section, you are integrating some of your projects. And then in the final paragraph, you talk about which professor you want to work with and what skill set do you have that kind of aligns and is a good
Yeah, you're
interaction.
buttering the university, right?
Yeah.
In a way. Yeah.
Yeah, that is more or less the entire structure which you follow. And the more like for example, I never had research experience, but I knew that UCSD requires research experience.
Mm.
So my 6 month internship project was mostly a research project, so I
Mm.
converted that into and showed them that, oh, this is how research, this is the kind of research which I've done. But when you're writing it, you need to be even mindful that you cannot add a lot of technical terms because the student body or whichever board of members are reading it, they might not be that technical. But at the same time, you need to give in those kind of words also, or that kind of tech also, that if someone who is technical is reading it, can get the gist of it.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm. Yeah. Got it. And so 4 5 paragraph
yeah,
intro, hook intro, then education projects, and then work experience projects. If
yeah,
you don't have work experience, probably use research experience, volunteer experience.
yeah,
Fourth paragraph is buttering your university, like
yeah,
what do you like about them and how it will help you and how you will contribute to them. And then final one is like closing statement, like
yeah,
you know
yeah.
thank
And
you for
also
giving the opportunity. Yeah.
yeah, in
Go
the
ahead.
second paragraph, which was about the education, you need to add a lot of student clubs or any volunteering stuff which you have done,
Yeah.
because that
Got
is
it.
a major factor. Like they value a lot.
Got it. And so did UCSD have anything other, like some universities, like for example, UT Austin, they have interview questions or written questions and then video essay as well. Did you have anything like that for UCSD, or is it pretty much standard?
For UCSD, they have a very long application process with specific questions like which prof do you want to work with, why do you want to work with, and all of those questions. And I think
Interesting. Okay.
no video interview.
No, okay.
Yeah,
And no essay or anything. Essay is pretty much the SOP.
yeah.
Okay. And what about LORs? Like, who did you get it from? And how, like, I'm assuming you kind of helped craft it, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh, yeah, who did you get it from?
So I had 2 years of work experience. So I took one academic and two professional LORs. And I don't know if it helped, but the academic LOR was with a prof with whom I had worked a lot. But when I was going for professional, I took one from a director of my org
Hmm. Mm.
who had studied in Georgia Tech and had like pretty 8-9 years of work experience in the US and had moved back to
Mm.
India. And
Mm.
second was from my manager.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's the format? Do you remember for LOR? Like what do you use? Like
I think it would be some standard LOR only. Like
okay.
first paragraph would be how do they know me? What is the interaction? Second, specifying some of my skills, soft skills as well as technical skills. And then why would they recommend me to the university?
Okay, nice. Yeah, I think I'm starting to see more and more universities are preferring professional LORs versus
Okay,
academic.
I see.
But then there are certain universities will specify that we do want an academic LOR, one
Oh,
at least, and then one professional. So it's cool. Okay, now obviously you got the admit, you were super happy. What's the timeline when you got it? Like what was this, when did you
March
get?
22.
March 2022. Okay. So you got the admit, you're like, cool, now let's book the visa appointment. And you got the visa appointment, you went to your visa interview. What is it, or how did it go? Like, did it pretty much like, oh, UCSD, like, yellow, visa is approved, or was there a story?
I mean, yeah, he asked me some basic questions. I don't know if the university name helped a lot, but I was scared. And you never know. It's a lot luck based. So it kind of
Hmm.
depends on which person, which visa officer you end up with.
Yeah.
And if, like, I knew that when I was standing in the queue, I knew that there are two officers, and one was clearly rejecting everyone. I really did not want to go to her. And the other was kind of okay with whatever was happening. Going to
So
that person,
what did they ask you? What did they ask you?
I think which college you're going to,
Hmm.
which course you're doing, and I think that's pretty
Did
much
they
it.
ask you why? Like why you going to UCSD, or
No,
why computer science? No, oh, it's just which and
yeah,
how you gonna fund yourself? I'm assuming that probably.
they did not ask me a funding question. I had
Oh wow.
prepared a lot. I had literally gotten so many bank statements and whatnot, but they did not ask me even who is gonna fund your education. Nothing.
Hmm. Wow. Okay. Good. All right. So congratulations, you got the visa, and then you ran out and now started to prep for coming to United States. What did you do? Like, so when was this visa interview?
I think June,
June. Okay. So obviously you were flying, I'm assuming, in August. Is that when you flew?
in September, early September.
Acha, it starts September. When does your program start?
It started 22nd of September and I reached the US on 6th of September.
Oh, that's because UC's
Whatever.
are trimesters pattern. Gotcha. Okay. I was like, why so late? That makes sense. Okay. We'll talk about the trimester pattern as well. Okay. Cool. So June to September, you had nice time. What
Yeah.
did you do during that time? Did you uh, spend time, eat food, packed? What kind of things did you do?
So again, packing was a very big headache and tension for me because every single person tells you a different story, right? That pack vessels, pack this, pack that. But I
Mm,
feel you don't need to worry so much about it. Like it's okay,
mm,
even if they cost you a little extra in the US, you'll be fine because here
mm,
you'll get different type of non-stick pans which are
mm.
easy to use if someone who is just beginning to cook or doesn't really know how to cook. For them, those
Yeah.
stainless steel pans which we get in India are difficult because you need to keep rubbing and it doesn't go. And I
Right.
was not into cooking at all. So it was kind of difficult for me and I was confused. And although I knew I am not gonna cook or did not even know how to cook, I carried like 10 different types of masalas, which is, I don't know if it was worth it. And
Right.
because of that, my luggage increased so much that there were three full bags of 23 kgs each. And when I landed on the San Diego airport, so there the trolley is paid, and otherwise you
Mm,
can't really get three bags to go together. And and then you need to have a bigger car when you're going from airport to the university, which was again a big
Mm,
headache. So I feel if
mm,
I would have packed better, I could have fitted everything required in two suitcases, and my life would have become easier. That 48 hours
mm,
journey, it's not easy,
mm,
and
mm.
so it was kind of
Yeah.
difficult, but yeah.
Yeah. So packing obviously was one of the activities that you did, but
Yeah.
did you do anything else from academic standpoint? Did you prep for yourself? Did you mentally prep for yourself, or pretty much like
So
no, I'm ready to go?
I think I was talking to some seniors of
Hmm.
UCSD via LinkedIn.
Hmm.
I did not know them before, but they recommended me to mentally have a lot of fun. Therefore, I
Hmm.
had 1 month of all India trip planned. Like not all
Hmm.
India, but I went with my family to a lot of places. And I think I tried to learn cooking, which is a
Hmm.
very important skill, but I was unsuccessful. I couldn't learn it. And I knew that I'm going to struggle a lot. And that was the reason why I wanted to come to the US like 10-15 days before my program starts, so that I get
Hmm.
familiar with the area around me, with the people. I can make some friends. Then I can get done with the jet lag and like be in a calm state of mind so that I can do something. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
those were mostly it.
Got it. Okay. So you booked the tickets. What about the apartments and roommates? Did you find it after coming or before coming? When did you find it?
So UCSD has this housing waitlist thing. They have a separate portal for housing, and
Okay.
as soon as you get an admit, you should ideally put yourself on the waitlist because it is first come first serve. You get
Hmm.
options like do you want a furnished apartment, unfurnished, what locality and all that. But I went for the furnished one. It was the highest cost, but I did not bother about it because I knew that if I come here and there is no bed or no bed frame or anything, it will get difficult. And I did not know people who were coming to UCSD. So I was
Hmm.
all on my own, and so I did not want to take that burden. But if you are coming with a group of 4 or 5 people, and all of you can put a housing application with each other as roommates, they give that preference. And if they have
Hmm.
availabilities, they make sure that you get the same apartment. In that case, you can get the unfurnished one also, because you can all of you all will be going to the same place to buy the bed frame and bed and all that, and you can split the cab costs and all. For me, it was kind of, I did not want to do all that because you even need to have an the American SIM. You need to have a credit card. Forex becomes a big thing. You need to have cash. A lot of things were there. And so I just went with the easiest possible option without worrying too much about money.
Hmm. And so so this housing is it common that you see San Diego people tend to stay with the housing they are providing or
Yeah.
not like off campus?
No, it's
Okay.
not. You can go for off campus, but I think everyone stays in graduate housing only because it's pretty convenient. It's close by and the rates are not that high. Like you'll get similar prices outside also. So
Got it.
I've never seen a master student staying off campus.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And so they then find you like this might be like a one bedroom is was your one bedroom apartment, two bedroom,
It was a 4 bed, 2 bath apartment.
four bed, two bath, and so they do the work of finding roommates for you.
Yes, you can yourself choose and give your preference, but otherwise they'll randomly allot you with some roommate. Given you can even specify your preferences, like you want to stay with males or females, and then they take care of most of those preferences.
Wow, this is fascinating. I like
Yeah.
that you get all of this and you don't have to worry about it because choosing a roommate is like a big thing. But were
Yes.
you not afraid that what if I don't like the roommate because these people are like completely new and oh, like what if because roommates can break or make your full experience of your masters.
Right. I was afraid, but then I also knew that I want a house. So the more number of restrictions you add, the more difficult it is for you to get a house. Like I
Mm,
knew of people who randomly started talking to people who had admits in UCSD to see if they can bond well. And there was also a housemates sheet which was floating around to see if you want to connect and all. I was also trying to do that, but I was like, if anyhow I don't know a person, how can you decide in one or two calls that if you'll bond together or no? And I feel it's my personal experience. It's any day better not to stay with another Indian because
Hmm.
Indians are the primary ones who will cook. So if there are
Hmm.
multiple Indians, it can be on the positive side also, like all of y'all can cook together and life becomes easier. But on the other side, if you're not cooking together, then you need to match the timings and you need to like the cleaning patterns of each other and so on. It gets complicated. So I just randomly went in and I had issues. I even changed my housing in the middle of this 1.5 years, but it's okay. I mean,
Hmm.
you can
Hmm.
it's a risk which you take and you can never know if it's going to work out or not going to work out.
So did you end up getting Indian roommates, or like was it all different countries?
So first time it was one Indian and two Chinese, and second time it was one American. Oh, two Americans and one Chinese.
Hmm. Okay. Got it. And the issues were mainly, I don't know if you are comfortable talking, but issues were mainly cleaning, cooking, or was it different?
Yeah, because what I've seen is other nationalities are really quiet. You'll never have, like in Bay Area and even in San Diego, the rooms are not very, they are like water, glass walls kind of, and you can literally hear everything
Yeah.
going on. But they
It's a
are really,
cardboard,
yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Yeah.
They were really nice and calm. So there were never disturbance issues as such. Other than that, if I think only cleaning and cooking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Usually, it's last 8 years of me talking to the students and my own experience. The biggest problem is either it's cooking, cleaning, or someone stole someone's food. It has to
Oh,
do something with that
yeah, yeah,
kitchen
yeah,
issues. Like, oh, you took my bread, you took my milk, and this. It's
yeah.
like, oh my gosh. So yeah, okay, interesting. So you found the apartment, you did some mental prep, you spent time with family, flight is boarding, you are on the airport. I'm assuming, did you go from Mumbai?
I went from Kolkata.
Kolkata. Okay.
Yes.
Nice. So you are on the airport, telling goodbyes to your family. Were you at all like doubtful, fearful, scared? What emotions did you have? Because you know you had Walmart, good job, and what if things didn't work out there? I mean, obviously at that time you didn't know that you were going to graduate at the peak layoff time, or peak recession time, but obviously, what were your emotions before flying?
So, to be honest, I did not think a lot about all of this. Undoubtedly, I was very scared and fearful, and I'm also a very homesick person. So, after
Mm,
staying at home for 2 years with my family, I knew that I'm going to a place where I don't really know anyone. Even the people with whom I was flying, I met them for the first time in the Kolkata airport. I did not have any idea of what's gonna be next. But still, if you decide that you want to do something, you should kind of just
go
try to
forward.
at least give it a shot. And I was
Mm,
never scared of what if things don't work out. Even today, I'm not scared because honestly, I will go back to India in like a couple of years. And I don't know if I will be able to make the decision, and hence I'm absolutely okay with destiny making that decision for me. Like people say that, oh, what if I don't get picked up in H1B in 3 years? I'm like, okay, nothing better can happen, dude. You're saving on taxes. You're going back to India and living a life which I would want to live at least.
mm.
Yeah.
This is Google talking. But this is why you got into Google. Because you're so smart. I love the amount of clarity you have. Like not necessarily like, okay, I know this plan, this plan, this plan, but like you're very self-aware. Yeah, that's interesting. I thank you for sharing this, because I felt like Bay Area is where people feel like, okay, I'm in India, I have a community, but if you're saying that, like, that's interesting. But okay, let's go back to you flying. Your flight was, you flew. Was the first port of entry San Diego, or were you flying somewhere else before?
San Francisco.
Oh, okay. So
So,
San Francisco, and then you had another flight to San
yeah,
Diego.
yes.
How was the port of entry? Did you have anything, or did they like, oh, where are you going? Like, what did they ask you?
So again, because I had seen so many scary videos that you cannot take this, you cannot do that, and I was scared. Again, I think there was a line, but there were multiple, like I came with four other people, but everyone was scared. But I really feel there's no need to be scared as long as
Mm,
you're not doing something which is just a crime, you'll be fine. And they asked me, what college are you going to, and I think they asked me for my I-20 or something. And um, I think that's pretty much it. Maybe you would have asked me one or two questions, which were very basic, simple questions. I don't remember,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
there
Have
was
you been to
nothing to
US
stress.
before or
Yeah,
something like that?
something of
Yeah.
that sort. Yeah,
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
yeah.
You landed San Diego airport. Did How far is the airport to the university?
Not a lot, 20 minutes or
No.
so. Hmm.
Okay. So did you do like taxi,
Yeah.
Uber, or did someone else come pick you up?
I did not have anyone in the US, so I had to do the taxi thing. And that
Mm,
also, if I would have been alone, it would have been very difficult for me because I do not have a SIM. There are some taxi booths on the airport itself, but they are really costly. Like when you
yeah.
come to the US and suddenly you hear $100, you convert it 8,000
8,000.
and 8,000 just to go to the university. Oh shit. I can stand on the airport for another 2 hours to figure out what to do next, but I don't want to pay that $100. And that was scary. But luckily, I had people who were taking the initiative of booking a cab from their phone. And then
Mm.
another shock which I received was after he dropped us, he expected us to give him a tip. And we were already in that mentality that, oh, 8,000 plus you need a tip also. Okay. And then, and the person did not understand English. He was Spanish.
Mm.
And we were like,
Mm.
what is happening, guys? It was really difficult.
Got their apartment. You obviously you had the furnished apartment, so you didn't have to
Yeah.
spend a lot of time. I'm
Mm.
assuming because it's provided by university,
Yeah.
you didn't have to worry about setting up the electricity,
Yeah.
water, garbage, and all of that. It was probably all included in the cost. So
Yes.
let's talk about cost because
Um,
everyone wants to know how much is it going to cost me. So let's split this cost of tuition, like
okay.
what is the tuition fees and then what is the cost of living. So let's start with the tuition fees. Like how much does it cost to study in UC?
Okay, so one quarter costs you $11,000 of
Hmm.
tuition fees, and
Hmm.
you will be going for at least 4 or 5 quarters. So that is 44 or 55, whatever you want
Hmm.
to do. And then housing comes to like one.
Wait. Question on the quarters. So for people who don't know, UC system, entire University of California, and then you just add a name, Berkeley, LA, and all of that. They run into trimester pattern, which means they don't have like a fall and spring. They kind
Mhm.
of have their own I think it's a 3 semester per year, and then summer is a separate semester. I think I'm not sure.
It's like a quarter, like 4 quarters
Four
in one.
quarters,
Yeah,
right?
and
So September
Berkeley
to
is
this.
3 semester system. Berkeley is not quarter.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
UC Davis is a trimester
yes,
pattern.
yeah, yeah,
So, okay. Never mind. I take my words back. So all the use, not all the UC. So yours is trimester pattern,
yeah, yeah.
quarter basis. So each quarter, how many courses do you take?
3 courses.
Wow. Okay. So 3 courses. So you took 5 quarters, which means roughly
Four
15.
quarters.
Oh, you did it in four
Yeah,
quarters. Got
yeah.
it. Because you took a gap of summer and you worked in as an
Hmm.
intern. Okay, got it. And then so that's roughly 12 courses.
Yeah.
Is Did you have to take 36 credits for
40
masters?
credits. 40. Oh, yeah. Actually, 36 credits. Yeah,
Right.
36. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And so 11,000 per quarter, that includes the fees and everything. Does it include health insurance or separate?
Yeah, it includes health insurance.
Okay, nice. So it's not that bad, like 44,000, 50,000 or so.
Yes.
Okay, 50,000 is that. Now let's talk about cost of living, because I think that's expensive in San Diego. But what is
Yeah.
the cost of living?
So my apartment, it was the most expensive apartment, fully furnished. That came to $1,005 per month, and no extra utilities. And on top of that, my grocery and everything comes to like $100 a month. If you want to
Hmm.
eat outside, it's like $15 to $20 per meal. And yeah, I think that is it pretty much.
So would you say your monthly living cost was definitely like $2,000?
No, 1,200 to 1,300.
Acha, okay, got
Yeah.
it. Um, Wait, how is 1,200? Because isn't your apartment cost itself 1,500?
No, $1,005.
1,005. Sorry, I heard 1,500.
Okay.
Got it. Okay. So $1,000 for apartment, and
Hmm.
then another 200-300 if you're
Yeah.
eating out, watching
Hmm.
movies, and all of that fun
Hmm.
stuff.
Hmm.
So 1,000 to 1,400 max is
Yeah.
would be.
Yeah.
But this is because you chose furnished apartment and all of that. It
Yeah.
could have been less too, but
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the
Even
lifestyle.
even if
Mhm.
it is less, it will be like $50 per month less. You
Mm.
will be saving over 12 months, but first time initial investment of $50 bed frame, and like it'll come to some 250 $300 of initial investment,
Right.
but you'll
Yeah.
even get a resale value.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So roughly, in your case, 1,200, and so you stayed for 15 months. So that's
Yeah.
$18,000 extra. So
Hmm.
18,000 plus 44,000. So total cost must be 80,000 or so.
Yeah. Close to.
Yeah, close. Because of this expenses, did you end up getting an on-campus job? And if you did, like how is the on-campus market in UC San Diego?
So on campus market is very difficult. I was
Mm.
trying for all the quarters, but I got it only in the final quarter. So basically, what happens is if someone already has some experience with the on campus job, they will prefer him for the next quarter as well. So for us, because our seniors did not graduate, like
Mm.
ideally people graduate in March, but they extended it till June. So for the next two quarters also, those were the only people who got on campus opportunities like TARA. So first
Mm.
years did not get, like very few people got it. And so after they graduated in June, the next quarter was in September. So I got one on campus job in September. So it kind of depends on when your seniors are graduating. But in general, it's not that every single person gets a paid on campus job. It's very difficult.
Mm. And so your definition, it sounds like you are only specifically looking for TARA jobs,
Yeah, yeah,
not necessarily like dining, cafeteria.
yeah.
Are those jobs available, or those are
Those
not available?
jobs, those jobs are available, but I did not. I think those have good opportunities, but I did not explore them a lot. But I know
Yeah,
of people who were looking, and many of them got in.
right. So yours focus was, and again, I think that is how I've always recommended people as well. Like yours focus was TARA or
Yes,
something related to your career, because they
correct.
will help add in the profile or with the fees or whatever.
Yes, yes,
Cafeteria, these are heavy labor intensive job, which means you will
correct.
get tired and then you will not
Right.
have time to like actually invest in for the thing that you came for. Was
True.
that your thought process
Correct.
as well?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And because in the last semester, last quarter for you, you got the RA. How did you get it? Was it pretty much referral or?
No, I think I did not get RA. I got TA.
Okay.
So again, my seniors recommended me this, that you
Hmm.
need to go and make personal connections with the professor.
Hmm.
So I had taken a course in the spring
Hmm.
quarter with the prof, and that prof was only looking for TAs in the next quarter. It was an
Hmm.
undergrad course. And
Hmm.
so I got in via
Hmm.
talking to that professor and repeatedly mailing him, and it was difficult. But
Hmm.
yeah, somehow I got in.
Nice. Okay. But like, yeah. So, you made the connection with the professor and then cold email and then you got it.
Correct.
Uh,
Yes.
And because you had TA, does it have any like tuition fee waivers or anything like
Yes.
that, or is it? Oh, is it does? Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
So more or less your entire quarter comes to zero because they half your tuition fees, like 11K becomes 5.5K, and then you get some amount paid. I think it's 2,300 or something per quarter, and that kind of nets it out to zero for one quarter.
mm, Got it. Okay. Nice. So obviously you didn't have to worry about one quarter. And
Yeah.
then you had internship. We talked about that in our last video. And then now you have Google and life is set. So so that's good. Cool. Did you when you first arrived in USA, did you have any like weird culture shocks that you didn't know? Like, oh, I mean, a lot of people know a lot of culture shocks, but some were like very evident, like, oh, this is so different than US. I mean,
Oh,
so
yeah,
then India. Yeah.
I don't think I had a lot of them because I was mostly hanging out with Indians. But in
Hmm.
general, here, like, I couldn't get this thing that, oh, I'm spending $15 and still eating out on a daily basis. But
Hmm.
Americans do that a lot. Like, here, whenever you go to the cafes, you'll always, even in the campus cafes, they are every time fully stocked with people around.
Hmm.
And they have morning breakfast with coffees and stuff, which was not normal for me. And they
Hmm.
even eat early dinners. But it's okay. Like, eventually,
Yeah.
it's their lifestyle and you'll be
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah. Cool. So let's talk about coursework. I
Yeah.
think that's how is it structured, and like, did you know? I guess like how many core courses and then how many electives, and then did you know which one you wanted, or how did you decide which one you wanted?
Okay, so I think they have three categories. I was doing the MS comprehensive um, coursework, and that has three categories: the depth area, the breadth area, and the electives. You need to
Hmm.
have three courses on depth area, three courses in breadth area, and four courses in electives. So that gives you
Hmm.
a total of 10 courses, 10 courses total. And so when I started with AI specialization, which meant I had to take three courses in the depth area of AI, but I did not like that, and so I moved to systems after one quarter. But these courses I could count in other places. Like, there are also some compulsory areas like theory, applications, and artificial intelligence, which you need to do. So these courses helped me, could be categorized in those. And then finally, I decided systems, and then I took some compilers, distributed systems, and algos, these courses as my depth area. Similarly, some courses in breadth and four electives. And every quarter, you need to understand that how many courses on the heavy side do you want to take and how many on the lighter side. So you can balance out your 4 or 5 quarters in a way such that you are taking easier electives in each quarter, and that kind of reduces your overall course workload in one quarter.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Love it. I love how everything you have like memorized, not memorized, but like strategically thought out. So, okay, did was there a strategy that because see, you came in September, that is the peak time for hiring for
Hmm.
summer internship. So, was there a thought process that I should take these courses because these are going to help me eventually get the internship, or pretty much like seniors did this, university says this, I'm just gonna do that.
I was talking to a lot of seniors and I just took the courses which they recommended me. That
Hmm.
is why I did not like that and I had to change things in the next quarter. But first quarter, keep it as light as possible because none of the courses that you take are going to help you land an internship. It's only you lead coding which will help you get an internship. So try to keep your course workload as low and light as possible and lead code as much. And then you can make up for the first quarter in the upcoming quarters. And mostly just try to, because it's your first quarter, you're anyways also settling to the US weather, US way of cooking and everything. So
Hmm.
it's only lead code primarily and just keep it light.
Yeah, yeah, love it. Cool. Now, let's talk about internships. And you had internship, and obviously you had full time job. In in spite of the recession and the rough market that people are in, I so I, two questions. One, is it pretty much the preparation, or you feel like the UC tag and UC San Diego helped, or location helped? Because location, obviously, it's clearly that you didn't get a job in San Diego, you moved to Bay Area. But because there's that, those are the two main things people choose universities, that oh, it's because in Bay, like in Boston, I'm going to get a job in Boston. That's not really true, but that's why people think that. And second, because the brand is going to help me get the job, which I don't think it's like completely just because you have a brand you're going to get a job. Like no company is going to come and say like, oh, UC San Diego, I'm going to hire Akriti just because she went there. So what is your thought process in this?
I don't think that your college tag helps you a lot. It's just how soon you apply. Because
Mm,
I feel that with the number of applications every company is receiving, it just gets stacked up. And whenever the recruiter gets time, he just chooses the first 100 applications, interviews them. If no one gets rejected, all 100 are selected. Otherwise, the 100 first and 100 second people get a chance if people are rejected. So it's just about the timing, how soon you can apply, or how you can make your application visible. Like if you
mm,
can cold email the recruiter, get referrals, everything should help, because that is kind of enhancing your chances of getting visible. So
mm,
college tag, with that you can just get some opportunities for career fairs, and maybe those companies are coming to hire from that specific college because they have a pool. It helps. Like for example, Qualcomm San Diego hires a lot of San Diego students
yeah, yeah.
because it's easy and they can come into office whenever they want, and a little less hassle on both the students' side as well as the company's
The
side.
company,
So
right?
maybe that kind of preference helps. Like I've also seen some people in Boston getting hired in electrical companies around there. I think
Mm,
Boston has a better market for electrical
mm,
companies, and so
mm,
that helps. But it's not that companies are very rigid and they only want to hire people in the California area, in the Bay Area offices. It's not that. Even when you get hired, you get to choose your location preference. You can choose Seattle, you can choose Washington, like whatever you want. And
mm.
so, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So choose something that makes sense for you, not necessarily just
yes,
because of this
correct.
reasons. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Would you, now that you've completed masters, you've now working full time, going back, if you were to talk to Akriti yourself, would you recommend UC San Diego again, or would you like, now that I've known, I might have choose something else?
I would definitely recommend, because
Mm,
I took a lot of nice courses and
mm,
I took it with great professors. See, I have not studied in other universities, so I don't know what the professor background of each university is. But with UCSD, I really felt that they teach you with so much of depth, and you can actually retain that long term. Like the assignments
mm,
are really worth it. The professors, the course structure, the course offering is really worth it, and you get to explore a lot. You can choose and decide what you want to do. There is a lot of flexibility. Even after entering into a comprehensive exam pattern, you have an opportunity to convert to a thesis degree. You get to work with professors in the biology department, in different departments, and then you can move around and you can do whatever you want without any fear, which is like one of the best things about UCSD. So
yeah.
definitely recommend it.
Yeah, this is not paid by UCSD. So, but UCSD, if you're watching this and want to send some checks, I'm gladly accepting. um, One thing you didn't talk about is weather. Best weather in entire United States, I would
Yes,
say.
100%.
So that is like, it's, you have the best beaches of
Yeah,
California. You, the weather is always pleasant. I mean, there might be some summer hot days, but
yeah.
it's like the best weather. Um, that's what I've heard. Is it true?
Yes,
Yeah,
100%. Like now
yeah.
that I have moved to the Bay Area, I kind of appreciate it even more. But even for UCSD, the beach is almost like walking distance, 10-15 minutes of walk. So whenever you're
Mm,
not feeling good, you want to relax or something, you can just walk. And people
mm,
even buy those electric scooters there, because of which your
mm,
life becomes even more,
mm,
you're able to move
mm,
around and it becomes easier.
mm.
Yeah.
How safe is it? How safe is UCSD?
I would say pretty safe. Like I
Mm,
have come, it's the university area which is like really safe, and most of the times you will be within the university area only because they have
mm,
everything you need. They have Target, then they have good metro lines like the shuttle lines, which take you to Ralph's from where you'll be buying most of your groceries, and you have a lot of clubs in the sense student clubs where you can just have
mm,
fun and dance and all those things. There
mm,
is a very nice beautiful library, and
mm,
they have some
mm,
food trucks in the campus itself, so very less times will you be going out of the campus. And even when you go out, you can go out with a lot of friends and you'll be okay.
mm. Yeah,
Like in the Bay Area, you have a lot of homelessness kind of things. In San Diego, it's comparatively lesser. Obviously, in
yeah.
downtown and other areas, you'll see it, but not that bad as here.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah. Also, like talking about your batch, which when you came, because all of them graduated in the peak recession.
Yeah.
How many do you feel like end up getting a job? Like, do you feel like most of them did, or people are still struggling?
People are still struggling. So again,
Mm,
UCSD gives you that flexibility that you can graduate in December or March or even June. So most
mm,
of my friends are still waiting for multiple opportunities and they will be graduating in June. But some
mm,
of them got into a lot of good startups. Like startups are hiring now, I feel. Some
mm,
are even struggling because, especially freshers, it becomes difficult for the company to put the trust in them. And seeing the overpopulated job market now, they are wanting to hire more experienced people. So
mm,
it's tough,
mm.
but you need to
Yeah.
get the correct opportunity.
Yeah, and the where I was getting at is like it doesn't matter the university, like ultimately it's like the preparation that you do and the hard work. I mean, there is obviously like blessings, people call it luck, but
Yeah,
obviously there is that part. But I think it's the bigger part is how much hard work are you going to put,
correct.
the preparation, the strategy, and all of that. Like you said, first 100, like maybe a lot of time people are not even aware that you need to apply as soon as like you said it in the other video that you landed and you felt you are already late. So
Yes.
so yeah, I get it. Cool. One last question is, what is your advice for international students who are planning to come, whether it is UC San Diego or in United States? What would you tell them? It doesn't have to be one, it can be many.
Yeah, first thing, I think without this I couldn't have survived was make good friends. And
Hmm.
everyone is in the same boat, everyone is going through the same thing. Okay, there can, after coming to the US also, we feel that, oh, everyone has worked so hard and they have entered into a university, so everyone will be in that academic mode. But that does not generally happen. People get frustrated and then they only want to have fun. So you need to be strategic and try to find a friend who has similar qualities as you and has similar interests and goals as you. Then I think I would have said this in the previous video also, it's very difficult for you to complete the entire assignment on your own. So have friends, go to office hours, better manage your time, and do not neglect your personal health or mental state, because if that takes a turn, it can become really difficult for you. So
Hmm.
take care of yourself even more than what you would have been doing in India, because here it
Hmm.
requires it. Make a lot of good friends. Try to have fun and at the same time learn, because if you only get pressurized, you will be stressed and it will become difficult. And try to see what works best for you. Like, although I graduated early, I feel that maybe if I would have stayed one more quarter, it wouldn't have really affected me much, but maybe I would have made better memories or had more fun. So
Hmm.
try to don't just think from, oh, I want a job. How will I take care of my finances and all that stuff? If you are in the US, make use of the time, make use of the opportunity, and also do not forget to have a lot of fun, because that's what goes
Hmm.
along with.
Hmm. Yeah, I love it. And I also love that you talked about time management because that is like such an underrated skill.
Mhm.
Like people don't realize where the time goes once they are
Yeah,
here. And you will have very limited time. And how do you use it is going to determine your destiny as well. So
correct.
love it.
Right.
I love it. Another great one. Again, thank you, Akriti. For people who have not watched the Google interview, you should go. And then I'm gonna go finally meet her in the person some weeks. Awesome. Again, thank you so much. Can't wait to meet you in person. Do this one more time. But until our next one.
Keep smiling, keep hustling.